All right, welcome back. On RealCopStoryVideos.com, we have about 355 cop stories that I did, 7 to 12 minutes, depending on the content. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of pursuits, a lot of backstory stuff, a lot of stuff you'll never see on TV. Guys looking for their girlfriend at a house out of sight of a bar and kicks in the door with the family living in there, and we have to tackle him, and just a lot of stuff like that. So look them up; they're all my babies. I love them all. Now we're going to a different way here. You're asking me questions, I'm answering them. And if you want to send me a question, email me a question at rsbcopstories@gmail.com. Here's one of the questions.
Tell us another funny incident.
Okay. We, at the time, now that I think there's 20, but at the time we had 18 precincts. That's East Coast terminology. Out here they're divisions or stations or whatever. And each station had they had anywhere from 190 to up to almost 400 officers, depending on what part of the city you were talking about. And captain runs everything, and some of the bigger divisions have two captains. The big captain, little captain, we call them. Big captain runs everything. Little captain runs like detectives and some of the other functions. But and you're dealing with men and women here. A lot of people dealing with police, and then some of these stations have a good number of civilians, record clerks, stuff like that. Some of the bigger ones have a whole staff of record clerks, probably 7 or 8 of them, with a supervisor and 7 subordinates, running all the records, all the paperwork has to be done whenever you run a police department, obviously, or a division. Okay, some of the divisions had teams, various teams of sporting teams, soccer teams, basketball teams, to off-duty stuff. We have an academy that's got all the facilities up there, so they have inter-squad competitions, they have inter-division competitions, they have a lot of sports, softball, baseball, weightlifting, you name it, it's competition, because a lot of men and women on police departments, for the most part, are personalities. They're very competitive, and they want to win all the time. So that's unfortunately sometimes you have problems. My division had a bowling team. Now I'm trying to remember. Remember this is 40-some years ago. I think it was 4 guys. I'm pretty sure. I think it was 4. I don't remember. I'm going to say 4 because again, sometimes I miss 1 or 2 here. And so they would compete against other teams. Okay. One of the record clerks in our division, single girl, was a cheerleader. She would go along to cheer the team on, and they'd go off duty and they'd compete, and they'd win or lose. They'd go have a pizza party, and everything was having a good time. And so, this is not one I heard, but this is not one I experienced, but I heard it from my partner who was very close to some of those guys. Okay, they had a a competition, and they won, and they went out and celebrated. Okay, the only person of those 5 people, the girl and the 4 bowlers, the only one that wasn't married was the girl. These guys were all married. So they celebrated. They went out, drinking, eating, and they all had sex with her. Okay. And when I came to work about a week, this happened, and then there was a lull in the action for about a week or 2. The reason why I say there's a lull in the action, because diseases of this nature takes a while to go to fruition. So after about 10 days, okay, the word was out, man. The word got out, and I talked to my partner, what's going on? Because I come to work one afternoon, and it's like not rumors, but this information's flying around, I was like, what happened? Okay, well, they caught a venereal disease from her. All of them did. And all the wives got the venereal disease also. Okay, so within about 10 to 17 days, this all came out because, the guys get it, and then it takes a while to, 2 weeks, 10 days to come out, so to speak. And of course, about the same time, their wives got it, probably day 2 after they got it from her, they got it. Okay, so it's I'm talking, this is like freaking All My Children things going on here. Soap operas left and right. Apparently one day the women came into the station and wanted to know the names of the other officers' wives. Okay. Okay. There's a file in there, several files of police officers, their families, their their wives, for obvious reasons. If an officer gets shot, you got to know who to notify. You got to know somebody gets injured. The captains and lieutenants want to call the wife to bring her in. So you need this information is all there. It's not public necessarily. It's not private either. Someone in law enforcement above the rank sergeant or above can get this information because it's administrative. Okay, they came in to the watch commander, all the wives, and demanded to know Well, they came in independently, but they want to know who's, because they found out from the husbands who were rolling over on their buddies as to who were the four guys, okay? And so they knew who they were, so they went in there independently and got the names of each other, the wives, and they're calling each other. Then one day, I heard this from the adjutant. The adjutant was really a close guy with us. He was a sergeant, but he really would tell us all the juicy stuff that went on. He said that one day they all came in. They all came in and wanted to see the captain. And they didn't come in and say, can we see the captain? They came in and said, we're going to see the captain. And if we don't see the captain, who captains run the division, we're going to drive downtown and see the commander. Okay, it's like the military. It goes up and it comes down, okay? So the next level up is commander, who he runs 4 divisions. He's in charge of 4 captains, okay? The captain down here does not want anybody to go over his head because then it looks bad for him. And he can come down again with a hammer on top of him. So the adjutant says, man, I had to find him because he was off something. I came in and kind of gave him a quick briefing. And he walks in and they had to let him in. These are these are the wives of the men in his command. You cannot hide from them. You cannot shun them because they know the system. They're going to bypass you and they'll go. And I know I've heard rumors way back that some women actually have gone to the chief of police office downtown because of incident their husband did or was having an affair or something happened where our department internally is pretty open to that kind of movement because you want to make sure if there's any kind of corruption or some officer's taking the bribe or you want it to come out, and you can't have somebody saying, I can't talk because I can't get out of this one particular position. I can't go around. You need that. You need that to maintain, professionalism here. I'm trying to give you all this background. So everybody went in there and the adjutant said I closed the door, but I could hear him screaming through the door, And I want her name, I want who she is, and and I want her fired. And I go, I can't do that because it's not my privy to do that. It's a personal affair, but it really isn't. It's a private thing. I shouldn't say affair. It's a private matter, not for police, but it is a police matter because it's conduct on becoming an officer for officers to have sex when they're. I know it sounds really old-fashioned, but in the department's eyes, you cannot have sex with women not your wives. I know it sounds archaic, but that's the way it was back in the 70s. That was kind of like an infraction. You can't do that. And so it's a private thing, but it isn't. And so the department's involved now. Again, like I told you, conduct can become in Cubo. That's one of the things that's not illegal, it's not unlawful, but it's unethical as hell, and it's not, we're supposed to be higher than that. And 4 guys doing one girl, even though she wanted it, she's obviously, I guess, a whore. It's not as if they raped her or anything, that's just the way it was. So, yeah, so they were all mad, and he promised that he will take care of it, and he did. He transferred them all out to places unknown. They went, again, I make jokes of this, but sent one guy to the harbor, which means he could be down there watching freighters come in. One guy gets sent to Devonshire, which is out there by Simi Valley. He lived in frickin' West Covina. It's about a 60-mile one-way drive, okay, during traffic. Put him on day shift, which means he has to give 2.5 hours in the morning to get there, and that's called freeway therapy, although subsequently somebody sued and they somehow they couldn't do that. But anyway, instead of discipline, he also put in there, they wrote paper on them that they did a conduct of becoming item that involved, they didn't put exactly what they did. They just said they was involved in a third party with sex and that they were married. You leave it at that. So that poor guy goes in front of an order board to make sergeant. It's right here. Ouch. How do you explain that? Okay, you'll have to serve a couple 5-year penance before that goes away, kind of. So that was of course, we had a guy, that was good fodder for many, many days, okay. Well, a couple of days after that confrontation with the captain from the wives, we had a guy that could make drawings, caricatures. He'd do it all the time. Maybe a drawing of my partner walking a spider. That's another story. Our partner wigged out. He had spider problems. Had this big burly guy with a leash walking a spider. He'd make these drawings. Pretty good stuff. We had a monster car story. One of my Real Cop Stories videos.com where 2 guys were really ugly, and he made a drawing of both guys with the bolts and the scars across their head and all that. Excellent guy, excellent drawer. Well, this drawing he made, it was 4 shadows of men, 4 heads, 1, 2, 3, 4, sitting at a bench, and there's a door, and it said Dr. Smith. It said Dr. Smith, BD specialist, something like that. It was urologist, okay, and that's all it was. There was no other words below. That was a joke for this particular incident. Of course, that got Xerox and spread throughout everybody. They were in police cars. The garage guy got it. It was everywhere. And of course, the guys were already gone. They transferred within a few days after that came out. They were already gone. But it didn't matter. The story's still there. And they go, I knew that guy. And of course, she got transferred someplace else because we can't And that was pretty good. I mean, I'm just shaking my head going, wow. I mean, you can see maybe one guy having an affair with her, but they all decided they all were happy and everybody's happy, Anyway, so that's my VD story, and I try not to make it too gross so everybody can look at it. I hope you liked it, and apparently they did. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.